Hey, here we are. When you deal with the Dakiches, you're going to have all kind of difficulties. And for some reason, our Comcast internet this morning in my beautiful studio that you can kind of sort of maybe almost see, the internet went out. And for whatever the reason, the internet decided today we're going to be crazy. So Donnie, Lauren, Stephanie, they got to work. I sat here trying not to swear and be gross, but here we are. Welcome. It is Don't At Me with Dan Dakich. It's day 2. We'll get the kinks worked out. I hope anyway. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But welcome to the show. Hope you're still here. Let's get to About Last Night. About Last Night was interesting. Big Ben decided to do Big Ben things late. Short passes, dump it down, get his team in field goal position. Boswell kicked a field goal. Justin Fields was pretty good as well. But I got to tell you, the story of the day was the officiating. I don't know if you saw this, but I did. And Cassius Marsh, who had a hell of a play, hell of a sack. Bears were going to get the ball back. He plays for the Bears. They were going to have a chance to win the football game. Kind of was an idiot, particularly based on what happened and what the points of emphasis are in the NFL. He stood over and looked and did all this kind of stuff to the opposing bench, which was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Tony Corrente, a veteran NFL official, I swear to God, I saw this. He backs in to Cassius Marsh, throws his flag for an unsportsmanlike, and it really changed the game. Now, I don't know that the guy did it on purpose, but I got to tell you, if a player did that to a referee, oh, man. Cassius Marsh talked about it after. He talked about a hip check. And he ain't wrong. He is not wrong. He was hip checked, he said, before being hit with a taunting penalty. But here's the deal. Corrente says, well, that had nothing to do with it. Well, maybe it had nothing to do with it, but it was a clear hip check. I mean, it was really interesting. It was very, very interesting. You know, Marsh came in, he gets a 7-yard loss. Now it's going to be 4th and 15. And he does his spinning kick, which was actually very athletic. And by the way, if you're on the street and Cassius Marsh gets mouthy, or you want to get mouthy with someone, don't get mouthy with Cassius Marsh. I mean, that swinging kick will knock you out, and I mean knock you out in a hurry. I mean a big-time hurry. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, they give the penalty. And at the end of the day, it's a chicken blank penalty. I mean, it's a total chicken blank penalty. And the league needs to stop this. The NFL needs to say, wait, no, hold on, time out here. Now, you know what? At the end of the day, people aren't here to watch, old guys throw flags, old gals, young guys, whatever they are, throw flags. You know what they're here to watch? You're here to watch football. And if it's a penalty, call it a penalty. But this was so egregious last night. I give Steve Levy of Monday Night Football great credit. See, Louis Riddick, he don't want to say nothing. Greasy, But Steve Levy was basically, by the end of it on Monday Night Football, making fun of the discrepancy. It was 12 for 115. That's what the Bears had. 5 for 30. That's what the Steelers had. And I got to tell you, it was one of those games last night where you went, all right, the play happened. I'm looking for a yellow flag, right? It didn't even matter the play. If it was a decent play, that's what you looked for. And then you went, okay, no penalty, so we can continue. And I got to tell you, that's total crap. It is. It's total crap to watch a football game that way. And that's the way the NFL apparently wants to, because yelling and being excited and making a leg kick and taunting is, oh, my God, we cannot have it. Oh, my God, we can't have it. It's terrible. I'm going to get into, in fact, I may do it right now. I might as well. We can't have graphics up anyway because of the freaking internet at my house. So I might as well do it right now. I'm going to give you my 5 best quarterbacks with the football down a possession, whether it's 2, something under 7. Because everybody's good with the football with a minute and a half to go up 8 because the defense is playing prevent defense. Next thing you know, all right. But I'm going to tell you, here are my 5. And number 1, well, I'm going to go 5 down. Number 4, and this is a tough one, but Ben Roethlisberger showed once again, like he looks old to me, right? Ben Roethlisberger looks creaky. I told you this before, back 100 years ago when I was coaching at Bowling Green. Here's a basketball player at Findlay High School. I offered him a basketball scholarship, not because he was any great basketball player, although he was pretty good, but because, man, the dude was a leader. And last night you saw it once again. Running the clock, taking what the defense gives you, gets Boswell in position to knock a kick in, basically win the game. But I'll take Big Ben at number 5. Now, number 4, I'm having a problem here. See, the NFL media tells me that Patrick Mahomes is broke. Quote, broke. He's broke. Shut up. Patrick Mahomes ain't broke. He'll be just fine. Block for. It's the middle of the season. Do you remember last year? And I said this yesterday, and I'll say it every day because the media is so stupid. Remember last year when Bruce Arians was the wrong coach. He's the wrong coach for Tom Brady. Harumph, harumph, harumph. He's the wrong coach. All these clowns in the NFL. Oh, you got to get rid. Wow, he's disrespecting Tom Brady. Shut up. Well, it's the same thing going on right now with Mahomes. But let me ask you, do you want anybody more than Mahomes? I do. There's a couple. But I'm going to put Mahomes/Russell Wilson in there. Look, I am an insane Russell Wilson fan and an insane Lamar Jackson fan. So I feel stupid. So number 4 is actually a tie. And that's a chicken blank way of going about it, I understand. And generally with Don't At Me, I'm not chicken blank. But when I keep Russell Wilson off of something like this, I don't feel good about it because he's dual threat and he's smart. Number 3, all right, this is my man crush, Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson, I'm down 2. I want the ball in Lamar Jackson's hand. There's only 2 quarterbacks I want more than Lamar Jackson. I'm going to get to him in a minute, but why? Well, and this may be the most important trait a quarterback has. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, right? There's a lot. Hey, Justin Herbert's coming on, right? Josh Allen's this and that. All right, a lot of really good ones. Terrific. Matt Stafford, you want to take Matt Stafford, probably should have him on the list, but I don't. Doesn't mean just because you're not on my silly little list here that you're not really good, but these are mine, and I'm curious yours. So here we go. So Lamar Jackson to me is the smartest guy since Ben Roethlisberger in his prime at moving in the pocket. Oh, man, he steps up, he goes over here, and he's so damn quick that one step gets him past closing defenders. And he sort of showed it again the other day against Minnesota, right? The dude is just money. I got a story about Lamar Jackson. It's not really a story about Lamar Jackson. I really didn't see him when he was a junior and he won the Heisman, but I saw him when he was a senior. And the world around us was telling me Lamar Jackson's not that good. Bill Polian and all the other grandpas of the NFL, well, he should be a running back. Well, he should be a wide receiver. Shut up. Shut the living hell up. That dude, what I saw as a senior in college, was the best player on the field. Are you insane? So now he's MVP at like 21 years old. I'll give him number 3. Number 2 is Brady. Now, I'd love to put him at number 1, but you know what he did the other day? Threw an interception for a pick-6 touchdown, but he's done it so many times. I don't know how you have Brady number 2. In fact, just stupid. But you know what I do? And the reason I do is because I think the number 1 guy is one of the all-timers, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Hey, look, you all can bitch, whine, and moan, and I'm going to get into the different takes on Aaron Rodgers and his vaccines and all that. Good for you. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's ruining sports forever. Okay. Can you be more hypocritical? But I'll get into that in a minute. Christine Brennan, State Farm is causing us to lose lives. Shut up. I'll get into that a little bit. But with the football in his hand, give me Aaron Rodgers today, tomorrow, or the next day. So I got Rodgers number 1, Brady number 2, Lamar Jackson number 3, Mahomes in a tie with Russell Wilson number 4, and Big Ben number 5. I've left some good quarterbacks out. But those are my 5. Those are the 5 that I think are the best late with the football in their hand. Now, one of the problems with my list, Russell Wilson threw an interception on the goal line in the Super Bowl. That literally should eliminate him from ever being involved in this conversation. Now, I don't know whether it does or doesn't. It certainly doesn't for me. But for you, it might. I don't know. I got a lot to get into today. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, Howard Stern, who is one of my broadcast idols. Nobody interviews better than Howard Stern. I basically have three guys in broadcasting that I look up to. Colin Cowherd, Howard Stern for the way he interviews, and the Cubs now White Sox announcer Steve Stone. Because Steve Stone would tell you, well, you know, if he throws one low and outside, he's going to get him right here. Pitcher would throw one low and outside, strike three. And we as young adults and kids would be like, Steve Stone's the greatest. But Howard Stern says that Aaron Rodgers should be out. If he would get Aaron Rodgers out of the league so fast. Good for Howard Stern. Love Howard Stern. Listen to him every day. But why? I mean, you get him out of there so fast. Everybody, I'm going to say this again. I'm getting a little tired. I felt like yesterday for 5 hours, 2 here and then 3 on my show. All I did was argue with people. And I really don't want to argue with people. But I'm going to get into this later on or throughout the course of the day. But more malfunctions. But look at the box that we have going on here. We got a show going on, people. But anyway, Howard Stern, to me, a little bit misguided with that. But that's all right. Good for Howard Stern. We'll get into more of this as we move along. Did you know what today is? Dun, dun, dun. You know what today is? Today is the start of college basketball. I'll give you my top 5 going into the season, but a word about Elon, the Phoenix. My son coaches at the Phoenix. Mike Schrage was a manager for us at Indiana with the Phoenix. Elon on the road at Florida. It's the only game I really care about. My alma mater, Indiana, plays Eastern Michigan, and tonight the Champions Classic. And you're going to hear a lot of this on this show over the course of time. You know, I was texting with, I was texting last night with Bill Self, Tom Izzo, John Calipari, and frankly, I'm excited about tonight. I'm going to take a couple of games in it. I'm going to take, and we'll get into the fading later, but I'm going to take Michigan State in 6. My top 5 in college basketball, look, I don't think a top 5 in college basketball really matters. I honestly don't. Like, I think a top 5 in college basketball is so fluid. There are 3 things that I watch in college basketball. Number 1, I watch for any type of greatness in player. Like, I thought Luka Garza last year, great player at Iowa. I want to see records. I want to see greatness in players. Second thing that I look at is who's a surprising guy. Like, I get tired of all these entitled kids and I'm a 5-star and I'm doing you a favor coming to your school. I like guys like a kid named Edey at Purdue, 7'9", out of nowhere, baseball pitcher out of Canada. The next thing you know, he's a bit of a dominant force in the Big Ten. I also look for greatness. I do. My former coach, Bob Knight, he coached the last undefeated college basketball team. It was in 1976, Now think about that. That's the last undefeated college basketball team. All right. Now, 1976, a hell of a long time ago. 1976, I don't even know what to tell you. I was 14 years old. That tells you how old I am. So I always look for the team that's going to go undefeated. And the reason I do it is because back when I worked for Bob Knight, he and a writer named Bob Hamill used to sweat it out. You know, like they would put, what do you call those little dolls? You know, you put pins in them. That's what Knight and Hamill used to do, and I used to get a kick out of it. Then they'd be like, well, you know, I really don't care about being the last undefeated. I used to laugh, and I really, okay. Anyway, I'm looking at a couple of teams with momentum from last year. Now, the number 1 team in the country, I think, is Gonzaga. But, you know, Mark Few is a friend of mine, and Mark Few made a horrible mistake this summer getting a DUI. The video didn't look good. But Mark Few made a hell of a mistake. And I think Gonzaga made a hell of a mistake suspending him only for the Dixie State game. You know, a lot of people want him suspended more by the NCAA. The NCAA doesn't get into personnel issues like that. The NCAA gets into issues where you break rules. So just get off of that. Well, you know, Kofi Coburn got suspended 3 games at Illinois. Mark Few only went, yeah, get off of that. The second team I like in this country is UCLA. Now, here's the deal with sports. I almost called this show What's Really Going On, because I'm going to tell you what's really going on. And here's what's really going on and what really goes on in college basketball. Momentum matters. Now, last year, UCLA had a hell of a run. In fact, I've told this story before. Jaime Jaquez is one of the great players on UCLA. Everybody knows Johnny Juzang and Jaime Jaquez. Well, Jaime Jaquez's family stayed with me. 7 of them stayed with me and my wife during the NCAA tournament here in Indianapolis. Why? Because my wife, the lovely and talented Lee Ross Dakich, great softball coach, iconic softball coach and player in the world of women's softball, coached Jaime Jaquez's aunt, Carmen Simpson. So they were coming to Indy. We're like, don't spend money on hotels. Stay with us. Had a great time. Learned to love the Jaquez family. Gabriella, we got her, Charles Barkley, to shout her out one time on halftime of one of the games. The world was crazy. But here's the deal. UCLA under Mick Cronin made an unbelievable run. They made an incredible run last year, and that carries over. Let me put it to you this way. I will be absolutely stunned if UCLA doesn't get off to a great start. Stunned. Like, what the heck? Because it carries over. All the kids stayed. They all couldn't wait to get back. They have a true family-type environment, which tells me if you're going to go to DraftKings or wherever you bet and you're going to put a futures bet, don't be shocked or don't be shy about putting it on UCLA. They have terrific players. Johnny Juzang, terrific. Jaime Jaquez, absolutely terrific. But the truth of the matter is that's one group that I know has a real together group. The third-ranked team I've got in the country is Purdue. Now, I'm an Indiana guy. I'm not supposed to like Purdue, but I really like Purdue's team. I'll tell you why. Purdue has more size than anybody. I mentioned the big kid, Edey, and the big kid, Edey, is literally 7'5". And he moves it enough, but he's not their best postman. Their best postman is the best passing big man in the country named Travion Williams. When you watch Purdue, and, if you're a casual fan or if you're a big-time fan, Travion Williams is an interesting kid because Travion Williams weighed like I don't even know how many pounds coming out of Detroit, and really nobody recruited Travion. Well, all Travion did was get himself in unbelievable condition and become the best passer of big men in college basketball. The kid averaged 15.5 and 9 rebounds last year, and nobody talks about him. Nobody talks about him, and I don't really understand why. Now, here's a big man. Let me give this to you. Average 2.5 assists. You know how many big men average 2.5 assists that are 6'10", 250? None. They just don't. They also have a superstar, Jaden Ivey. His mom's a head basketball coach at Notre Dame. It's a great story. But Jaden was like a 3-star recruit, averaged 11 points at La Lumiere Academy, one of these basketball factories, on a really good team. But Jaden Ivey's a star. And they have, I think, my favorite college basketball player, Stasha Stefanovic. I know his dad, Louis. We grew up together. Louis and I used to play on the streets in Gary, used to play at Maryville High School. He went to Illinois State, had a great career. Back when the draft had 6 or 7 rounds, Louis Stefanovic, I think, was a 6th-round pick. Great dude. Totally partial is what I am. The fourth team you can see tonight. The fourth team is Kansas. Kansas likes their team. Now, Kansas is a blue blood, right? So basically, Gonzaga's become a blue blood. UCLA always been a blue blood. Purdue outside the realm of blue-bloodedness. But Kansas is a blue blood. You go watch them tonight against Michigan State. Now, I've got them 4th in the country, but I'm also taking Michigan State in 5.5 points tonight, which is really stupid. By the way, I'm 0-1. Because I won last night because I took the over in points, but the bet that I gave here was I took Pittsburgh minus 6.5. I bought it down to 6.5, and at the end of the day, I don't know. You're gonna win a lot of money though following me, so stay here. Don't give up on me after one bet. I mean, what the hell? I mean, just stay right here and understand. But I mean, let me get to Kansas. Kansas has a kid named Remy Martin. Now, here's the question with Remy Martin. Remy Martin was a first-team All-American going into last year. Remy Martin was at Arizona State. Bobby Hurley, the great Bobby Hurley, was the coach. Remy Martin was good enough to get you fired. They were supposed to be good. Oh, man, they're going to be good. Oh, they're going to be dynamite at Arizona State. They're going to be so good. You wait and see. Okay. Well, we're still waiting. It was crazy. To quote my Dad, it was crazy. It was nuts. Well, so what happens? Now, Remy Martin takes his act on the road, and Remy Martin goes to Kansas. Here's the deal with that. When you go to a blue blood and you are not, quote, the man, when you're not the man and you got to fit in with a bunch of other the mans like David McCormick, were really good big for Kansas, you got to kind of fit in, and I call it be a human being. You know, guys that all of a sudden start believing they're hype, guys that lose their mind over things, they don't. But then you go to Kansas and you got to be a human being. You got to fit in with a bunch of really good players. I'm anxious to see what happens tonight, but I've got them fourth, and then fifth is Villanova. And frankly, the reason they're fifth is because they're really good. Colin Gillespie is really good. And I don't even care the names. You don't even need to know the names. All you need to know about Villanova is Jay Wright is the coach. Colin Gillespie is a point guard. They'll have a bunch of wings that will end up playing in the NBA. I try to keep it simple around here. I try not to complicate things. If you're just joining the show and you're like, Dan, why the hell are we looking like this? For some reason, Comcast and my house today are not getting along. But Lauren, Stephanie, and Donnie, and my wife's got us hooked up. If you saw the thing that we have a box with tape over it and a phone sitting about, 3 feet off the desk. It's absolutely glorious, baby. But we're here. We're on Outkick. And as Frank Costanza said on Seinfeld, I got a lot to say to you people. And when we come back, I'm going to say it. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Christine Brennan. What the hell are you doing? We'll be back. going to do right now, I'm going to give you my 5 hot takes. And a couple of interesting things happened last night. In fact, basically every night in the world of sports, particularly this time, interesting thing happened. Let me go this route with you. Last night, and I think this is a really good thing, Scott Frost, former Nebraska player, Scott Frost is the guy that was really counted on to bring Nebraska back. And he's not done a great job by Nebraska, what they think standards, but he's done a good job of getting them competitive. And this is not a 2 or 3 year rebuild for Scott Frost at Nebraska. I think this is a 5 or 6 year rebuild. So Scott Frost, Trev Alberts, the AD, announced that he's going to come back. And I think that's a great thing. I really do. I think it's an absolutely great thing. He loves the school. Who are you going to get? Like, are you going to start over? Now, Scott Frost took basically $1 million pay reduction from $5 million to $4 million. I think Scott Frost will be okay. He had to get rid of some assistants. But you know what? I think it's a very, very good thing for Nebraska to do this. Again, people think, well, we're Nebraska. Yeah, you were Nebraska. You were Nebraska back in the day when Tom Osborne, and this is true, Tom Osborne used to have on his board, and I'm being literal here, you had to commit felonies to not playing a game. There was this whole board about arrests and everything else. But the world has changed. Nobody really cares about Nebraska nationally other than, obviously, Nebraska fans and Nebraska alums. And probably TV games are okay. But I don't think Nebraska is going to go out and who are they going to get? Urban Meyer, Nick Saban? Who are you getting? You got a guy that has won games. You got a guy at Central Florida. Now, I get it. He hasn't done what you want him to do at Nebraska, but damn, he's close. And you got to play this thing out for, I think, a couple more years. And good for Trev Alberts for doing that. State Farm. State Farm, I commend you, State Farm, for keeping Aaron Rodgers. I commend you for that. Now, State Farm, in keeping Aaron Rodgers, cut him back from 25% being in their commercials to 1.5%. I mean, do you all now, Christine Brennan, I want to get into this. Christine Brennan has an article today that basically says, well, it doesn't really basically says, it says that State Farm is incredibly dangerous by keeping Aaron Rodgers, sending a bad message. Okay, so Christine Brennan thinks so little of us. Now, this article's in the USA Today. She thinks so little of us, okay, as thinkers, that we're all going to make our vaccine decisions based on Aaron Rodgers and whatever the dude's name is that they're trying to sell home, auto, and life insurance to us. Christine Brennan, God bless you, but I swear to God, and you're an idol, you're a legend, I swear to God, we can separate vaccines, our health care, from a State Farm commercial. I swear we can. Look, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm giving too much respect to the public, but I'll continue to do that. I mean, Joe Biden the other day made everybody sound like we're all so stupid. We can't understand supply chain. Yeah, I can. You got it. They need it. We want it. Honest to God, Christine, are we that stupid? Do you think that little of us, that because Jake from State Farm or Aaron from State Farm or Aaron and his buddy selling us home, auto, and life, we can't make our own decisions about vaccines, about health care? Well, I see Aaron Rodgers in that ad. I don't need to get the shot because Aaron's in that ad. What? Well, Aaron threw a touchdown pass, and then I saw him in the ad. I don't need to get the shot. I don't want to get vaccine because, oh, by the way, can I get double indemnity on my house? What in the hell is wrong? I mean, this is what drives me nuts. This is what led me to Outkick. The fact, and I don't know if they're liberal, I don't know what they are, the fact that such woke folk think so little of the rest of us. Big article, USA Today. I mean, we can't think for ourselves. If you could think for yourself, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's the most. It was like, all right, here we go. Here's the tweet. You ready? Oh man. Wait a second. I just had the tweet. Where the hell did my tweet go? Christine Brennan at C Brennan Sports. Here's the tweet. Gosh darn it. What did I do with it? I just moved it over because I'm dumb with the internet. Oh, man. Anyway, the tweet basically says we are all too stupid to think for ourselves because, well, frankly, State Farm runs an insurance or runs a ad that has, well, Aaron Rodgers in it. So we're all going to perish. We're all going to die. We're all going to make decisions based on Aaron Rodgers. And I got to tell you, I'm not. I mean, you guys might. And I respect the American people too much to think that that's what you're going to do. I really do. I respect you too much to say, well, you know, the decision to go soft on Rodgers can only be described as State Farm's singular focus on its bottom line, hoping it doesn't make the anti-vax flat earth folks mad enough to cancel their policies while hoping everyone else isn't paying attention. Yes. Here's the tweet. Like a good neighbor, ? Are you kidding? ? State Farm trying to play the both sides argument with the health and well-being of society. Society puts people at risk by supporting Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I'm sorry, by supporting Aaron Rodgers' lies. That's how dumb Christine Brennan and the woke think you are. They just think you're that dumb. I like Christine Brennan. I do. I read her. I think she was really good to my niece at Northwestern. But this is the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. This is the most condescending, silly stuff that I've ever heard. We're going to make decisions based on, well, he's on State Farm. We didn't cancel him. Oh, my God. He's still there, so I'm not getting vaccinated. My God. Oh, man. All right. You got to agree with the group thing. And Christine Brennan, I just think we're smarter than what the woke among us give us credit for. I just do. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has that kind of impact over any of our health care. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe my mom in Florida is sitting there going, yeah, you know what? Yeah. Number 3, I got this a little bit backwards. Ben Simmons should just sit out the whole season. And not for Ben Simmons' sake, but for my sake, because I'm just tired of it. Look, Ben Simmons, if he has health issues, then he really should sit out the season. He really should. He should get that taken care of. He should. And the Sixers should work with him. You got to work with people that have mental health issues. I've talked about my mental health issues. I've talked about the depression that I had when I was coaching. I couldn't sleep in a bed. I had to sleep on the ground or on a couch so I could roll over. I couldn't get my head off the pillow when we lost. My father always said, like I always hear about all these competitive people. My father always told me, Dan, you're going to die if you ever coach a team that loses. And I coached a team that lost. We had injuries. We had football players playing. We couldn't win a game. I had my 4 best players out for 2 straight years. Actually, 7 of my 10 years at Bowling Green, I had 2 of my best players. For 5 of those, I had 3 best players out. And when it finally caught up to us, I had real depression. I take Lexapro to this day. I am a big proponent that we don't do enough for mental health in this country, period. And if Ben Simmons seriously has those issues, then he needs to get that fixed. And the Sixers need to work with him. They fined him a couple $1 million in training camp. They stopped finding him. They went back and fined him. Now Simmons is saying he'll work with the team doctors. If this, in fact, is a mental health issue, then he needs to sit out, in my opinion, the entire season. Kofi Cockburn is maybe the best player in the country. He's a great story. Kofi Cockburn plays at Illinois. Kofi Cockburn sold his own stuff. So Illinois gives him stuff. Kofi Cockburn was going to the draft, and Kofi Cockburn sold some of his memorabilia, some of his stuff. Kofi Cockburn got a 3-game suspension from the NCAA. He gave the money to charity. It's ridiculous. Now, a lot of people compare it to Mark Few getting a 1-game suspension. No, it's different. Mark Few didn't violate the NCAA rules. The NCAA doesn't get into the personal criminal decisions. They really don't. Maybe they do, and I missed it. I don't know. Anyway, Few's deal is idiotic. Few should be suspended for far more than one Dixie State game and a couple exhibitions. Kofi Cockburn's suspension is completely idiotic. If he broke the rules, fine. Pay it back, give it to a charity, and let's move on. It's just silly. I mean, really, maybe a few years ago, but right now in college sports, we have the Wild West. Hell, Indiana did a thing in basketball where, you know what, come on out. The money's going to go to the players. And away you go. So who we fooling? Kofi Cockburn sold his own stuff. Remember O.J. Simpson did 9 years for stealing back his own stuff. Own stuff is interesting. I guess you got to hold on to your own stuff until you're 5 years out of college. But Kofi Cockburn's deal is absolutely, positively ridiculous. Lastly, this hurts me because I am old enough to remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to me, is one of the 2 greatest basketball players ever. Ever. Like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan are the 2 best ever. Like, nobody mentions Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now, ever that I've seen. I didn't really see Wilt Chamberlain. I know Wilt Chamberlain's numbers are so great that you go, man, how is he not considered the greatest player ever? All right, but for my money, and I didn't see the big O, Oscar Robertson. A lot of older guys say, man, that dude was crazy good. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, also, in my view, is one of the great Americans. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because of his Muslim faith, and I've always respected that. Even as a little kid, I respected different. I liked it. A lot of people said at that time, guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are going to ruin sports. I didn't believe it. I thought it made sports cool. I thought Muhammad Ali, and I was just old enough, kind of, to sort of remember. Not a lot, but I can remember when he became Muhammad Ali, and I remember the uproar. And I actually remember as I got older being thankful that I lived in a melting pot type area where we had everybody, man. We had, and I don't even know if you can say melting pot anymore, and if it's offensive, tough, because that's what everybody called it. Hell, we had Serbians, we had Black, we had Hispanic, we had Mexicans, we had white guys, there was rich guys over there at Broadmoor or Gary Country Club where we all caddied. And when Cassius Clay, Muhammad, they were legends. But everybody said at the time, guys like Muhammad Ali and Cassius Clay are going to ruin sports. Well, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is saying the same thing. He's saying he's damaging professional sports, Aaron Rodgers is. He's saying because of Rodgers' ignorance regarding the science of immunology, it brings back the old dumb jock. I got to tell you something. If you sat down and listened to Aaron Rodgers, and I mean listen to his explanation, he may have gotten stuff wrong. I'm not smart enough. I don't pretend to be smart enough. But the truth of the matter is, Aaron Rodgers sounds anything like a dumb athlete. Aaron Rodgers sounds very smart. Now, one of the things that Jabbar is mad about, Aaron Rodgers claimed to be allergic to the ingredients in the vaccine, but offered no proof. Oh, okay. So now we've got to prove to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, nobody's to be believed except him. When he said what he was doing and why he did it, we were supposed to Always believe him, but we can't believe anybody else. We can't believe Aaron Rodgers. Okay. All right. Every time a pro athlete like Aaron Rodgers does or says something stupid, the public trust in athletes lowers and sponsor might consider avoiding players in favor of actors, pop stars, and social media influencers. Okay. So now he's saying that the money's going to go away because sports is diminished. Has he been paying attention? Do you know that the worst football game of the year, the Pro Bowl, the worst, nobody cares, rates a 10? Do you know what the number one college basketball game, Duke versus North Carolina, rates? 2. That's it. But yet sports is damaged because a guy very articulately, I might add, in Aaron Rodgers, very articulately put his position on not getting something that the woke mob says you must have. See, a lot of people said sports was going to be damaged when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Eric Reed took a knee. Different folks took a knee. Hasn't been damaged. Sure, there's been discourse on both sides. There's been hate on both sides, but sports damaged, please. Ratings are unbelievable. Sponsorships are through the roof. And here's the other thing. Aaron Rodgers didn't just lie. Okay. And he said that he hurt the image of professional athletes at large. Well, that's what everybody said Muhammad Ali did. That's what everybody said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did. That's what a lot of people said Tim Tebow did. And you know what? We're all just fine. We're all just fine. I'm going to watch Aaron Rodgers the minute he comes back. So are you. Gambling just got approved in New York. And when gambling gets approved, online wagering, DraftKings, all those, guess what? Sports interest increases. So I get, but I want to ask all these folks, who exactly did Aaron Rodgers lie to? He told his team. He told his coaches. He told his ownership. He told his front office. The media knew. The NFL knew. So who did he lie to? I'm anxious to hear. Nobody has given me that answer yet. Nobody. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the smartest men, but this is awfully hypocritical. I just remember, man, everybody said this is the end of sports. Right? This is it. John Carlos, Tommy Smith. I thought that was cool as hell, and I was 6 years old. I did. I did. 1968. I thought that was badass what those two did. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the uproar, too. Ruining sports. Okay. Muhammad Ali, ruining sports. No, Muhammad Ali enhanced sports big time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, free thinking, enhanced sports big time. The general population, the ones without a bias, be it political or racial or whatever, love free thought, love independent thinking. We don't want to be sheep, those of us without a bias. We don't want to follow. We want to listen. We want to see. Let's see what happens here. So I was disappointed in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I really was. Aaron Rodgers didn't damage sports. Aaron Rodgers, again, if he lied, you tell me to whom. And Aaron Rodgers has no obligation to sit there on the Pat McAfee show and say, well, you know, I'm allergic to this, that, or the other. Doesn't have any obligation. And if he's lying, man, he was eloquent as hell about it. Anyway, what's especially bothersome is that Aaron Rodgers didn't just lie and threaten the health of those around him. He also damaged professional sports. Everybody around him knew. The percentage of these guys, healthy guys in their 30s, 20s, if you want to use percents, because Jabbar does, also in this article about how many people actually have allergies, the chances of dying, about 0.002 or 3. I had a friend of mine, mathematician and a scientist, tell me, Dan, when I got COVID, he goes, Dan, You got a better chance of dying driving your car downtown Indy every day than you do with this, like 10-1. And last thing about Aaron Rodgers, Joe Rogan, and the low-hanging fruit in the Aaron Rodgers thing is Joe Rogan, right? He listened to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan beat COVID in like 2 days. I beat COVID in 2 days. Why? I'll tell you why I think I beat it in 2 days and had no real problem. Actually, no problem. I know when it hit me, and then within about 12 hours, it was gone. I'll tell you exactly when it was. Or excuse me, I'll tell you exactly what I did. I listened. My wife, myself, we took hydrochloroquine. I was taking vitamin C like it was going out of style. I was taking vitamin D, and I was taking zinc because ESPN sent me to South Dakota over Thanksgiving. Ultimately, I got COVID there. But I knew where I was going. I knew the dangers. So about 3 weeks ahead of time, I started loading up. I got COVID. Didn't bother me one bit. Me. That's me. Now, it's killed a couple of my friends, but I'm just telling you, me. So if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm asking somebody that beat COVID in a day and a half, like Joe Rogan did. I'm asking, but that's low-hanging fruit for people. Jabbar also said, well, asking Joe Rogan is like if you have heart surgery, asking a romance novelist to do the heart surgery. That's just so idiotic, it doesn't even need explaining. That's just grasping at whatever you can. That's just anger. That's beneath a great man like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, we're going to come back. I got a lot more here. This is a fun show. All right, we're going to figure this whole thing out. Apparently, the outage is all across the country. So don't at me, people, about it. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Uh, Internet is back. So we may have the whole thing up. Apparently across the country, the internet's down. Now it's back. All right. I do a segment called Today in either NFL, NBA, whatever, stupidity. And the Las Vegas Raiders seemingly lead the league in stupidity. We all know the tragic Henry Ruggs deal. And, on all sides, that's just horrific. I'm not even talking about the football side. I'm just talking about life side. There's nothing worse, I can't imagine, than losing your daughter. There's nothing worse. Again, a lot of people get mad at me because I have empathy for Henry Ruggs, and I do. I mean, he made a horrible, horrible, horrible decision that he's got to live with the rest of his life. And I don't wish that on anybody. But today, in NFL stupidity, we go back to the Raiders. The Raiders waived their second-year cornerback, Damon Arnett. He was a first-round pick in 2020. He's out of Ohio State. And coming out of Ohio State, he had a lot of issues, man. Like, there was a lot of stuff. In fact, Mike Mayock, the general manager, said, well, we've never put more time into researching a guy than we did this kid, Arnett. Well, Arnett just got waived. And he got waived because a video of him surfaced. And the video was of him basically holding a firearm gun, threatening to kill people. Now, Charles Barkley, in a text, or not in a text, said something really funny. He said, I don't understand people. I don't understand how we leave a trail when we want to criticize or go at somebody. An email. He was talking about, here, it's a video. He goes, I talk about people the old-fashioned way, behind their backs. I mean, think about it. You talk about them behind their backs, it becomes he said, she said. You put something idiotic like this guy did on a video, threatening to take a life while he's got a gun. What are you doing? Like, seriously, I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how guys commit a crime, videotape it, put it out there. Like, if you're going to commit a crime, I don't know, aren't you trying to get away with it? Isn't that the idea? It's a crime. You're doing it clandestinely. But yet here, I'm going to show the world, this guy, that I want to kill somebody using a gun. So I'm going to put a video out there showing what I'm going to do to this person. Okay, so what does that do for you? Let's just think of it this way. Does it make, like, I don't know, your friends like you more? Oh, man, you're great. Does it get you dates? Is it better than Tinder? I don't even know all that. Bumble? I guess I know 2 dating sites. It's better than Match? Hey, man, I got a gun. I'm going to kill everybody. What? That is particularly stupid. And that may not be criminal. I don't know. I have no idea what's criminal and what's not criminal anymore on the internet. Hell, when I was doing basketball games for ESPN, I had 13,000 people at Michigan State chanting, "We hate Dakich." That wasn't very nice. In fact, it's a friend of mine, my producer, Bart Fox, ringtone. That wasn't very nice. They're not criminal. It's just stupid, these people. But the looks in these folks' eyes, and some of them, I remember looking around going, man, I think these people would legitimately kill me. I had a cop. Listen to this. I had a cop in Iowa. I'm doing a game in Iowa City. I had a state trooper put on Facebook. If anybody in Carver Hawkeye let me back up. If anyone is at Carver Hawkeye Arena, where I was doing the game, the Iowa game, and has a gun, shoot Dakich in the head. That is a police officer, a state trooper, said that about me. So then he called me, and I'm like, hey, man, no problem. But you probably shouldn't do that, right? What do you get out of threats online? Hey, man, your neighbor's mad at you, you got a problem, you walk over. Something's going on, you figure it out. But as Charles Barkley said, you don't leave a trail. And I guess we got to say good for the, good for the Raiders in getting rid of this guy, I guess. But the truth of the matter is, why'd you draft him in the first place? I mean, there have been a bunch of bad decisions over the last year or so we cannot stand for. All right. Very painful decision. We spent significant time, effort, and resources trying to help him in all aspects of his life. See, this is what I say all the time about the NFL and college and everywhere else. Every once in a while, you get a redemption story. And they're great. But, man, for the most part, the same pains in the ass continue to be the same pain in the ass. And every guy that's ever coached or every police officer or everybody that's ever taught is right now nodding their head going, yep. It's why you always see the same people. Seriously, you always see the same people. I think that's why, ESPN, because it's always me getting in trouble on my radio show. Me, same people all the time. I think it's always the same people in the NBA. Marcus Smart's always going to say something and people are going to lose their mind. Nikola Jokic last night knocks the living hell out of one of the Morris twins. Jokic always involved in those things, and so are the Morris twins. Always the Morris twins, always Jokic. I'm telling you, it's always – back in the day, a lot of you guys that are older will remember the name Steve Howe. Steve Howe was a great relief pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Swear to God, every day, Steve Howe, or every month, and it's a sad story because he had addiction, but every month Steve Howe was in the news getting suspended. I think he got suspended 7 or 8 or 9 times by Major League Baseball for drug abuse. It was every day. Josh Gordon is the kind of that guy right now, and it's sad as hell. You hate to see it, but I'm just telling you, it's every stinking day. So there you go. That's today in NFL, or this is NFL stupidity. All right, let's talk about some spin. Last night in the NFL, the refereeing was completely god-awful. The refereeing, I was a Bears fan growing up, but even Steve Levy, who I absolutely love Steve. I think Steve is a great dude, right? But Steve Levy on the broadcast even commented 3 or 4 times on how poor the officiating was and, frankly, how one-sided it was against the Chicago Bears. So after the game, and there was a play in there where a guy named Cassius Marsh made a great play on a 3rd and 7. He was with the Bears. It was going to be 4th down and 15. The Bears were going to get the ball back. Real chance, down 1, I think it was, real chance to win the game. Cassius Marsh goes around and does his dance. He does this kick. I talked about it earlier in the show. He does this kick, and it's a great kick. Do not mess with Cassius Marsh. He will kick your ass. I saw one kick, and I know he will kick your ass. One roundhouse. He'll kick your ass. You see Cassius Marsh, and he's a very easy guy to recognize. He's got this long, stringy blonde hair. Cassius, you got the long blowing. You look like that guy, I forget his name, that actor guy who's like on the cover of romance novels. What the hell was his name? I forget. But anyway, so Cassius Marsh, when you watch the play, he gets flagged. Tony Corrente's the referee, and Cassius Marsh gets flagged. But you can clearly see Tony Corrente back into Cassius Marsh. And here's what Cassius Marsh has to say. On the sideline, I got hip checked by the ref. It's pretty clear. If I was to do that to a ref or even touch a ref, we get kicked out of the game, possibly suspended, fine. I just think it was incredibly inappropriate. And he's right. I saw that. My wife saw that. We're sitting there watching the game going, wow. So here's Tony Corrente. Now, Tony Corrente's spinning this right here. What Tony Corrente says doesn't address the hip check. He says this, first of all, keep in mind, taunting is a point of emphasis this year. It is. It is. All right? And with that said, I saw the player, after he made a big play, run toward the bench area, which he didn't. He didn't run toward nothing. He walked over and was at the hash marks, which, oh, by the way, in the NFL are in the middle of the field. And postured in such a way that I felt he was taunting them. So this guy, Corrente, can tell posture. Hey, I can be really energetic. I can be incredibly energetic and look like this. I'll give you a story about that. Bob Knight, I think the greatest coach in the history of basketball, always looked over his players when he talked to them. We'd be sitting in chairs and he would look over you. And I asked him one time, why do you always look over us? Why don't you look us dead in the eye when you're talking to us as a team? And he goes, Dan, because a guy sitting like this, I think he's not paying attention. And I've learned over the years that a guy sitting like this might actually be more attuned to me than a guy sitting there like this. The guy sitting there like this might be a fraud. I'm not going to get mad at him, but somehow I'm going to get mad at a guy sitting like this. You can't tell posture. And I saw it. He was behind the guy. How are you telling posture? I didn't judge the contact as anything that I dealt with. That had nothing to do with it. It was a taunting aspect. Well, I guess the question becomes then, why'd you hip check? Because he clearly did. Why did he back up into him? Now, I'm going forward with my face on the YouTube chat, but my ass is going backwards. See, that's just getting out of the way. That's just putting it in a position where it is objective. His call. Nobody else's. And I don't have to address the clear hip check. And if you watch it, it's a hip check. And if you don't think it's a hip check, I don't know, then I guess maybe you're a Steelers fan or you got some background with Cassius Marsh, but that's a damn hip check. But that's spin. 12 penalties, 115 yards, 5 penalties, 40 yards the other way. And I swear to God, I love you, Steve Levy. Thank you, Steve Levy. In a world like college basketball getting ready to go tonight, you're going to hear the most monotonous guys. That's some fun. Everybody, now that I'm no longer in it, and Dick Vitale's sick, God bless his soul this year, dedicated to Dick Vitale, but everybody else is very mundane. That's a fun. Well, I love that Steve Levy went outside of that last night because we all saw what he saw. And the referee, Corrente, is a veteran guy. He can spin it however he wants. He can do it however he wants, but he's full of ish. And I do hope the NFL at some point comes out and says, hey, look, they won't. The referee, his actions were clearly unnecessary and clearly combative because they were. Something about us. Here's where the toughest guys in the world are, and it drives me nuts. College basketball coaches and football coaches, when they get in their 50s, all of a sudden they're the toughest SOBs alive. I remember Kevin Stallings, a coach at Pittsburgh, caught him on video. I'll kill you to one of his players. He ain't killing nobody. He wasn't even tough as a player. But now all of a sudden guys get referees. Oh, you're going to hip check a player? I always told my players, I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to cuss you. I'm going to do anything I can to make you the best player you can possibly be, but I'm never going to touch you. And if I ever do touch you, you can knock my ass out. And you should. That was incredible to me last night. And that was something that I hope, I haven't seen anything so far today because, frankly, my internet's been basically down. But my God, was that ridiculous last night. And I know you Bears fans, I got next door neighbor, Tom Bosa, man. Like, I live in Indy. He drives to every home game. I already saw him on Facebook losing his mind. I already did. He's losing his mind. And I don't blame him. It's what you're supposed to do. Seriously. All right. We're going to come back. I'm going to talk again about a couple of different things. One of which is sack up. I'm going to tell you who needs to sack up. Tony Corrente needs to sack up. The NFL needs to sack up. I'm 0-1 on our bets, but I got one for you tonight, a lot of college basketball. I'm going to give you a college basketball game that you're going to bet, that you're going to win, that you would never have even paid attention to. But this is going to be my lock of the day. Got a lot of stuff coming back here. Join us. Stay with us. We got a minute or two break. Hey, welcome back. Look at us. The internet all across America is back on, and we are back looking, well, not great. I mean, this is all I got. Can't do much more with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the show was going to be called Sack Up. It's called Don't At Me. Sack Up got squelched by the powers to be. I should go all Howard Stern in the 80s on the suits, but I don't care. I'm just glad they gave me a forum here. All right, we're going to talk some Sack Up right here. You ready? Let me tell you somebody that sacked up last night. Steph Curry. Steph Curry sacked up big time. Let me tell you what he did. Okay, he got 50 and 10 assists. But here's what he did. This is what I like. This is something that as a basketball coach, you don't kind of like, you love it. The next Steph Curry is Trae Young, right? Steph Curry, Trae Young. In fact, Trae Young actually gave me credit on a broadcast or in a podcast for being the first guy that said, hey, this guy, Trae Young, could be the next Steph Curry. Guess who Trae Young plays for? He plays for the Atlanta Hawks. Guess who Steph Curry plays for? The Golden State Warriors. You know who played last night? The Atlanta Hawks played the Golden State Warriors. So here you go, the wannabe Steph Curry. Trae Young, the media, he's great, and he is. He's great. No, he's not kind of good. Trae Young is really good, and the fact of the matter is he ain't Steph Curry. And Steph Curry now, okay, Trae, all right, you're the next guy. Let's go. 127, 113. First business taken care of. Golden State won the game. That's first and foremost. Second business, Steph Curry got 50 points. 50! Steph Curry got 50 points, 10 assists. Now, I'm just looking at this. Steph Curry went to the free throw line 13 times. Made them all. Steph Curry shot 19 threes, made 9. Pretty good percentage. Steph Curry took 28 shots, made 14. Now, I look at this like this. The second guy with shots is Jordan Poole. He took 17. The difference, though, is this. Listen to this. Steph Curry's plus-minus in a 50-point, 10-assist game, his plus-minus, against a playoff team, the Atlanta Hawks. Not very good this year, but last year a playoff team. We assume water will find its level. Steph Curry's plus-minus was plus 31. Plus 31. Now, I don't know about you, but when a guy drops 50 and 10 and shoots a ridiculously good percentage, it's that kind of day, people. A ridiculously good percentage, you know what's happening? He's sewing somebody. He's sacking up. No. He's sacking the hell up. He's telling the NBA, Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks, and everybody else, not today. You ain't good enough. That's pretty remarkable. And I haven't paid that much attention yet to the NBA. My focus has really and truly been all about football. But I was curious last night because these things in the NBA, they're historical, right? Kobe wanted to match Michael, right? Isaiah wanted to match Magic. Magic was getting all the pub. Isaiah, I think, the best little guard in the history of it all. But you know, there's always that. That's always a massive part of what the hell's going on in basketball. Basketball, like a lot of sports, baseball, certainly a team game, but man, I got the bat or I got the ball and I'm a pitcher. It's me against you. And basketball is the same way. I don't know why this is doing this. But if it continues to do it, I'm going to throw this little eye thing, whatever it is, out the window. So anyway, it's that kind of day. I ain't even mad about it. That's another segment I'm going to do. I'm going to do a segment called I Ain't Mad About It. Here's where that came from. I had a suspended kid when I was an interim head coach at Indiana named Jamarcus Ellis. So I suspended him. You know what he said to me? Oh, coach, man, I ain't mad about it. I'm like, you ain't mad about it. I'm mad about it. I got to suspend you for Penn State game. I need to win this game. I want to keep this job. I ain't mad about it. I love I Ain't Mad About It. It's one of my absolute favorite things. But anyway, in the world of sacking up, Steph Curry sacked up last night. In fact, I think It should be life, liberty, or sack the hell up, should be what it is that we're talking about. But I do think that was a hell of a night last night by Steph Curry. You know, as I said, I haven't paid that much attention to the NBA, but I do want to circle back a little bit on Ben Simmons on something. Ben Simmons is meeting with the 76ers back doctors, and one of the reasons I got to believe he's meeting with the doctors of the 76ers is simply because Ben Simmons wants to get paid. I assume there's something in there where he wants to get paid, and if you don't meet with the doctors, but I will say this, if Ben Simmons has a legitimate, serious, and I'm not doubting that he does, I'm just saying he's meeting with doctors, they'll diagnose it. But if there is a mental illness here, I think Ben Simmons absolutely needs to stop and stop playing basketball this year. I really do. I just think he needs to stop doing that. I think he needs to stop playing. I think he needs to take care of himself. I think he needs to come here and fix this iPod that I have. It's making me crazy. I don't know why all of a sudden today it decides it's going out every 5 minutes, but I don't care. I'm going to keep talking about Ben Simmons. Serious mental health issues are deadly. People commit suicide, record numbers. If you have a serious mental health issue, go see your doctor. I had one when I coached. I was embarrassed about it. I didn't go see my doctor. I went to see my doctor. My doctor asked me, what's going on? I go, yeah, I'm getting divorced. This is a few years ago. I'm getting divorced, blah, blah, changing jobs, that kind of thing. He's like, let me help you out here. Put me on Lexapro. Best thing he ever did. I don't discount serious mental health issues. And if it's serious, really serious, then Ben Simmons needs to figure it out, take a year, and move along. And next year play. But this year, coming back and forth, and you got to read about yourself in social media, the Philadelphia press is going to crush you. Who needs it? Now, if it's something you can work with, by all means, man, go play, because a lot of times, most times, whatever players are dealing with out here goes away when you're in here on the court of the field or the pitch or whatever it is. So I hope Ben Simmons is diagnosed as someone that can play with this, and I hope he does. But I also hope if he's not, if this is an issue, he gets to work on himself. I believe, I take mental health issues very serious. I don't take them lightly. I don't discard them. And hopefully at some point, Ben Simmons gets this whole thing figured out. All right. Well, we're going to come back. I'm going to give you some bets. College basketball starts tonight. I've already given you my top 5, and it includes Purdue. I'm also going to give you my number 1 sleeper team. Now, here's what you got to understand. When I give you these things, this is 14 years doing talk radio. When I give you these things, a lot of people say, oh, you're an idiot. And I nod, I go, okay. And next thing you know, they come true, and you go, huh. Usually guys stick their finger in their nose, Dakich was actually right. Well, I'm going to be actually right about my sleeper team in the country. I'm going to recap my top 5, and I'm going to give you a couple bets to make tonight, one of which is a game you'd have never paid attention to, but it's going to win you a lot of money. All right, we're going to come right back. What a great background this is. It's Don't At Me, baby. Stay right here. Tell your friends. Let's go. Let's make this a national phenomenon. Hey, how are you? Fade Dakich always. Now remember, be careful with this. I'm 0-1, and I'm going to put up my record every day. All right? I'm not one of those guys that talks ish only when he wins. When I give you a bad bet, I am going to tell you that I lost. And I'm going to lose in streaks. That's what I've learned about gambling. All right, let's talk some college basketball real quick. I gave my top 5 earlier today, and the top 5 for me is Gonzaga. I think the Timmy kid is tremendous. I think he's going to be the player of the year. The kid came back. He's inside. I think UCLA, tremendous. I think what they did at the end of last year, unbelievable. And I mentioned earlier, between Johnny Juzang, Jaime Jaquez, and the rest of their team, they are a real family. They really are. Again, I had the Jaquez family staying with me during the NCAA tournament, which was right here in Indianapolis. Their whole family stayed, man. Cousins, aunts, sisters. It was awesome. We had a great time. Not a good time. We had an absolute blast. And I watched that team as close as I could watch a team. And, man, they really liked each other. And there is, in college basketball, carryover from one year to the next. There just simply is. And, look, I get it if you may not believe that. And maybe it doesn't happen in all sports. But college basketball, there's no question. So the Zags won. West Coast basketball really well represented. A UCLA number 2. I love Purdue. Purdue has all the ingredients. Purdue has bigs. Purdue has guards. Purdue has veterans. Purdue has older guys. Sasha Stefanovic's been playing at Purdue since 1983. All right? I think I played against him. I know it was his dad, or he acted like his dad, but I think it was Sasha. Anyway, then I've got Kansas and Villanova. Now, Villanova's moved into blue blood status. Colin Gillespie may end up being the player of the year in the country. He's with Villanova. Remy Martin and David McCormick may end up being the players of the year in the country, too, and they're both at Kansas. We'll see tonight. My sleeper team is a homer pick to many. It's Indiana. Now, look, I played at Indiana. I coached at Indiana. Name a job, I had it at Indiana. Graduate assistant, volunteer assistant, part-time assistant, full-time assistant, lead assistant. I was the interim head coach there. I played there. I was a bench warmer. Started in NCAA. You name it, I did it at Indiana. Okay? So people say 2 things about me and IU. Well, you have a bias against Indiana because they didn't hire you as the head coach in 2002. And that's crap. They actually saved my life. The other thing is you're a homer for Indiana. Okay, fine. I'm not a homer for Indiana, but one thing I have said over the years is Indiana has never really gotten the coaching hire right, except when they let me coach for 7 games. That was the greatest hire in the history of the school, but I digress. Mike Woodson is there. Mike Woodson's a legend. Mike Woodson is a cool guy, like very, very, he's kind of like, he's the kind of guy that if you don't like Mike Woodson, that's on you. Legitimately on nobody else but you. So Mike Woodson, after years in the NBA, he's an Indiana basketball icon. High school at Broad Ripple High School, college at Indiana, led his team to a Big Ten title. The only knock against Mike Woodson is that he lost to Purdue in the NCAA tournament, he and Isaiah Thomas. I don't know how the hell you lose to Purdue in anything, much less the NCAA tournament. But Indiana has a ton of guys back. They lost some guys, but they lost the right guys. Indiana has a deep roster. Trace Jackson Davis is a kid that a lot of people are feeling is a first-team All-American. I don't know if he is or not. He's got to learn to shoot a jump shot. But I do know this. He's bought into what Mike Woodson has. Robert Finnessy is a terrific 4-year starting guard. Xavier Johnson is a transfer. You know, they've got the team. They've got a really, really good, deep basketball team. And a lot of folks are sleeping on them. Indiana's been a bit irrelevant over the last few years, haven't made the NCAA tournament, and this year is the first time ever. Imagine if you're a Kentucky fan, or you're a Kansas fan, or you're a Duke fan, or a North Carolina fan, or a Connecticut fan, or a Michigan State fan, and the goal is to get to the NCAA tournament. That's it. That's all you got to do at Indiana right now is get to the NCAA tournament. And if you can get to the NCAA tournament, you've had a successful year, which is the weirdest thing in the history of the world. But anyway, Indiana is my sleeper team. Not Cooper Kupp. Miller Coop, I think is his name. It's a transfer for Northwestern, can really, really shoot it. Leal, Galloway. They got a bunch of guys in a bunch of different spots. So if you're looking for a futures bet here, if you're looking for someone that you think could win the Big Ten, or you're looking for somebody to make a run in the NCAA tournament, remember you heard it right here. Indiana University. is going to have a very good year. At some point, they're going to end up in the top 10 or the top 15. They're going to start out about 14-1 for a variety of reasons, one of which is they have an incredibly easy schedule. They'll win games. They'll all of a sudden become a thing probably by the middle of December. You get to hear it here first, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you take advantage of it. All right, this segment, Fade Dakich. Now, college basketball is at the forefront, and there are a ton of games to bet tonight. In talking to my peeps, and I have peeps, see this face? I got peeps. I got peeps that want to talk. When I call people, they want to talk because I'm a good listener. So last night, because you know what, I got to do this show, and I want to make damn sure that the folks on this show get the good information from me. So last night, I'm texting with all the fellas that I know in college hoops, and my question is simply this. Give me something for tonight. I need something for tonight. Everybody to a man, everybody told me to take Michigan State. I got them at 5.5 against Kansas. So I took at 5.5. Now I think they're 4. The other game, Ohio State minus 16.5 against Akron. Ohio State, remember this name, E.J. Liddell. E.J. Liddell is going to be the player of the year in the Big Ten, I believe. He's that kind of good. Here, Hunter Dickinson, maybe Trace, or maybe Kofi Coburn. But E.J. Liddell, one of the only, if not the only, I can't remember. Maybe Ben Wilson did it, the late Ben Wilson, 100 years ago. But he's a 2-time Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois. He's now a junior at Ohio State. Ohio State's going to beat Akron by more than 16.5. But the game that I like, dun-da-da, dun-da-dun-da-da, the game that I like that none of you would ever have paid attention to. Do you know what IUPUI stands for? It's not ooey pooey. It's Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. The campus is great. It's right downtown Indy. Matt Crenshaw is the coach. He's an ex-military guy, played there. A lot of pride in IUPUI. I'm going to take the 25 that it says now on DraftKings. I got it at 26.5. I'm going to take that 25, and I'm going to take IUPUI because I don't think Butler's very good. People look at Butler and they think Brad Stevens. Now, Butler's got a lot of guys back, and the problem with Butler is you do not know who Butler is because last year no team in the country, and I say this with all due respect to every team in the country, no team was hit harder than Butler. Like, I would talk to the coach, Lavelle Jordan, and it was like, this guy's not practicing. That guy's coming back, but he got sick. This guy contact traced with a goat. I don't know. It was crazy. It was insane what was going on there. So it's hard to tell Butler. But I think, and a lot of times, just doesn't happen. But it's going to happen tonight. I'm going to take Indiana University, Purdue University, and I'm going to take the 25. That's what I'm going to do. Now, people are asking me, hey, Dan, what do you think about Duke and Kentucky? I got to tell you something. I want you to think back to Duke and Kentucky. I want you to think, when's the last time you didn't know a single player's name on either, unless you're a Duke fan or unless you're a Kentucky fan? I'm literally sitting there last night, and Zion Williamson still there? Where? What? Bobby, do they have a Hurley? I could not tell you a single player at Duke. I can tell you the coach, Mike Krzyzewski. I can tell you the interim coach, or the coach in waiting. I can tell you who that is. That's John Shire. But I can't tell you a single player on Duke's team. I can now, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to get to what people said to me. But the truth of the matter is, I thought that was fascinating. Like, I thought that was so fascinating that here I am, a basketball guy, and I can't tell you one player on arguably the most popular team in the country, Duke. Then I looked at it, and I said, oh, yeah, Joey Baker's on the team. Oh, yeah, Theo John's transferred there. Oh, yeah, Wendell Moore Jr. is on the team. A guy that I said 2 years ago when I was doing their game with John Shambi in Madison Square Garden was going to be a star. I still think he is. I do. Jeremy Roach is on the team. Oh, yeah, he's pretty good. Everybody tells me this Paolo Banchero is the man at Duke. Now, here's why I say everyone tells me. Because it ain't like Zion Williamson, where all of us saw him for years. Paolo Banchero is being told to me, terrific player. Oh, you're going to love Paolo Banchero. Okay, I'm anxious to see him. But if somebody said to me, tell me his game, I got to rely on others. That's very odd to me. That's very, very strange to me. Let's talk about Kentucky. Kentucky, now last year, boy, Kentucky fans were losing their mind. Can you name a single player on Kentucky as not a Kentucky fan? I'm going to tell you. I could name one. Keon Brooks. Keon Brooks Jr. is from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Keon Brooks Sr. played at Wright State, and he was a very, very good player. I did know that C.J. Frederick transferred there from Iowa. C.J. Frederick, really good shooter. Iowa had a bunch of guys leave, and probably none more so than C.J. Frederick. C.J. Frederick should be a starter for John Calipari's crew, but I don't know any of it. I know this. I know Ty Washington, some freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, got himself, I think it's a Porsche deal. I think he gets to drive around a Porsche. I think he's made a lot of money on the NILs. I think he's giving some of it to charity. I got to tell you, that would piss me off. It would piss me off if I was sitting there in the locker room as a freshman and I'm looking at this other guy as a freshman driving a Porsche. Hell, it pissed me off when I was a freshman and Coach Knight sent my college roommate, Rick Rolray, to the Olympic Festival and not me. Like, I was hot. But to see a guy over here driving a Porsche, you got to be a hell of a good guy to overcome human nature and be like, yo, Ty, what the hell have you done to get a Porsche? What the hell is this? Look, God bless you. God bless everybody. But the truth of the matter is, that's something I don't understand. That's something that, I guess that's the way of the world. Oscar Tshiebwe. Oscar Tshiebwe transferred in the middle of the season from West Virginia to Kentucky. I always wonder about guys that transfer in the middle of the season from one school to another, particularly when they're starting. I know we're not allowed to say that. I know we got to kiss the ass of 18 to 23-year-olds. I know that's what we're supposed to do in college basketball and foots and everything else these days. But I always wonder, you're going to leave your team. Because remember, what do college athletes always say? They say two things. I'm a man. I'm a grown man. You got to treat me like a grown man. That's one. And the other is, oh man, these are my brothers. You leave in the middle of the season? You walk out on your team at West Virginia in the middle of the year? I'm sure there's a good reason. There's always a good reason. All you got to do is find the right guy to ask. But I always wonder about that. Transferring is the easiest thing in the world. You want to transfer after the season, you see a better situation, who am I? Who am I to tell you no? No, I don't care what you do. But as a coach and as a fan, I'm always like, all right, okay. If that's what we're going to do, then let's see what happens. A lot of times the grass ain't always greener. I always go back to this. You know that friend of yours? This is what I do to my friends. You know that friend of yours that always talks bad about his wife? You know that friend of yours that always is like, well, the old ball and chain, oh, the old lady, oh, blah, blah, oh, I love being at home by myself, right? I always say to him, I go, you know what? You'd be a frickin' puddle if she ever left you. No. And invariably they do, and invariably over the course of years, I've gotten phone calls, she left me. I'm like, I know. The grass isn't always greener. We're going to see a lot of that this year. What's going to happen in college basketball is this. Like politics, like vaccines, like whatever you want, the woke media is alive and well and living in college basketball. Last year, the college basketball got admonished on ESPN by Jay Billis for calling Jalen Johnson's family his camp. I mean, it's alive and well and rolling. You know, so the transfer guy that does well, you're going to hear a lot about. The 3 or 4 that have actual impact. Maybe there'll be 10. There's like 350 transfers. Maybe 10 will have real impact. Maybe the other 290, I don't know, maybe those guys have great situations for themselves. My history in college basketball, 20-some years, says it's not that way. But you're going to hear from the woke media about all these transfers and how great transferring is. You're not going to hear about the guys who make mistakes, who regret it. I had a lot of kids transfer because I was a mean guy as a head coach at Bowling Green. I was tough. I was MF, and I was doing everything. But damn near every kid that transferred, not everyone, but damn near every kid that transferred sent me an email, because email was just getting popular, or wrote me a letter expressing how upset they were and what a bad decision they made to transfer. Because they realized that, man, I cared about them. I loved them. I wanted the best for them. And when they went somewhere else, the coach, I was going to swear right there, BS'd them, lied to them, didn't care about their academics, didn't care about their girlfriend, didn't care about what was going on. I have so many of those, I don't know how big the stack is. So that's my history, you know, but I'm not woke. I'm not going to write the article that says, well, everything's great in college basketball, because the 2 guys that transferred played really well. Coach K is going on a farewell love me tour. Love me! Love me! And if anybody deserves it, he does. No, he really does. I mean, look, I've been critical of Coach K. I don't consider Coach K the coaching equal of Bob Knight, even though his accomplishments are far beyond what Coach Knight did. And I do it because he never played road games. Never played road games. I don't know what happened to a story that was out of New Orleans, but there was a story out of New Orleans how suddenly all these players moved, Carlos Boozer, Trajan Lane, all these guys moved from different places to Durham. I don't know where Marvin Bagley lived, but everybody tells me his family lived in a gated community in Durham. I don't know if that's true or not. I do know that a former Duke great told me how Kyrie Irving was driving around. I don't know if it was a Benz. I don't know what it was. So I've never really respected that part of it. I'm not saying Coach K ever cheated. In fact, I'm saying he didn't cheat. I'm just saying he understood how to use and understands how to use the system better than others, and good for him. But Coach Knight tolerated nothing. I got fired one time, had to come off the road because me and another assistant made the god-awful, fireable offense of calling the same kid twice in 1 week. At a time when you were only allowed to call him once. I was in Canada, he was in Florida, we didn't communicate. That's my issue. But as a basketball coach, as a leader of his operation, as a leader of USA Basketball, Coach K is second to none. And he deserves everything and all the accolades that he gets. So this farewell tour, while I think it to be funny, I think it to be, I don't know the right word. Everybody that has a farewell tour says they don't want a farewell tour. You know how not to have a farewell tour? How not to have a farewell tour? Leave at the end of the season. And don't tell anybody. Kind of simple. But I don't begrudge him. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be funny. The funniest thing, though, just popped up. The funniest thing just popped up here on my iPad. And you really can't see it. That's my beautiful wife and me right there. But it says, what Joe Lunardi's 68-team bracket looks like as college basketball returns. Haven't played a game. And Promotion Joe is out there. What was the guy's name? Proposition Joe. That was his name in the wire. Prop Joe. Prop Joe's out there schlepping a tournament bracket. I love college basketball. I'm sad I'm not going to be a part of it. Or at least at this point, I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm really not, but I got to say that I am. I loved working at ESPN. I did. Loved it. Like I saw an article that said Dakich rips ESPN. I would never rip ESPN. I didn't rip ESPN. I won't rip ESPN. ESPN, hey man, they came along at the right time. I was getting divorced. I had to put kids through college. Let me see, I think I put 7 kids through college. Never rip ESPN. Loved it. Absolutely freaking loved it. Didn't kind of love it. Loved it. Severe Wheeler from Georgia. Davion Mintz, Obi Toppin's brother. Kentucky's loaded, Kentucky people tell me. How about this? So yesterday, I'm going to end with this. And one last thing. So yesterday, I'm in the hardware store over here. The guy says, hey, Dan, you doing games? No, I'm too controversial. I don't fit the quota, thing. And he's like, oh, man, I'm a fan. And I see a guy look at me. He goes, Dakich, I hate you. I go, hey, man, I'm just buying a light bulb. What the hell? I'm from Kentucky. So I looked at it and I said, well, what the hell are you doing here? If you're from Kentucky, go back to Kentucky. Now the cashier was a young kid and he's looking at me and he's laughing. He goes, everybody from Kentucky hates you, Dakich. I said, well, we're in Indiana. Get the hell out of here. Right? Because what am I supposed to say? Well, I'm really sorry. Golly gee, I'll try to do better. You always stand up to idiots. And finally he's like, well, I don't hate you. I love your commentary. You're great. And the guy left and I looked at the kid and I go, man, people are just idiots. I go, I'm sorry. People are absolute clowns sometimes. But you're not, because there's 109 of you, including Van Pasterman, Sean Black, and everyone else sitting here watching on YouTube. I hope everybody has a great afternoon. Remember, my official bet of the day. I am going to take IUPUI, the Fighting Jaguars, under Matt Crenshaw, military guy, former IUPUI player. I got him plus 26.5 against Butler. Other bet. This isn't an official one. I'm going to take Michigan State. Michigan State minus, or plus, I got him at 5.5. On our YouTube chat, Will34 says, hey, Dan, I'm from Kentucky and I love you. Thank you for that. I'm going to probably have some other picks because it's a big night. Probably take Indiana minus 24 over Eastern Michigan. I think Indiana's going to play well tonight. I'm going to look at some other things as we move through the night. Probably take, I'm not sure whether I'm taking Kentucky or Duke tonight. I don't know either team. It's the weirdest thing ever. It's absolutely the weirdest thing. Hey, all you clowns that are right now on YouTube, can't thank you enough for watching. They'll be up on Twitter, up at Outkick.com. There'll be excerpts of this show all day long. Donnie and Lauren and Stephanie, thanks for working through all of the problems today. Yes, people, we're on every day. You get to hear this genius every freaking day from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. And then, frankly, I'm on again on 107.5 The Fan from 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock. George Monahan, great to see you, my friend. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and enjoy your day. The start of college basketball is here, and I'm all down with it.